today we're going to be watching The Little Match Girl, and it is one of the Christmas stories of a little girl selling matches. So you guys will take a look at that. So first, the table of contents. First, we will watch the story in a YouTube video, and second, after that, we will learn the vocabulary that was in the story, and third, we will rewatch the story with the newly learned vocabulary. So these are the three steps that we're going to follow today. First, let's get into the story. So I want you guys to pay attention to this story of the little match girl.
Roberto traded up to commercial insurance from Geico for serious coverage for both his truck and cargo.
This is a Geico?
So here's the story, and it's 7 minutes and 40 seconds long, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was the story, it was a really famous story, um, like fairy tale story, uh, of a Christmas Eve, and this little girl was selling matches. And again, at the end, she didn't meet her grandmother, but died at the end. It was a really um, sad and famous story at the same time. Okay, so now let's get into the vocabulary. The first word that we are going to discuss is match, and a match is a stick with a special coating on one end that catches fire when struck against a rough surface. For example, the little match girl was selling matches. We saw in the video that the little match girl was indeed selling matches for money. So what these matches are, you can see in these pictures here on the left. It's a matchbox with plenty of matches inside. That's what it looks like. And on the right, that is how a match is burnt. So again, here in the story, it said, with bundles of matches in her hands. That is how the word is used in the story. And the next word is purchase. And purchase simply means to buy something. So for example, she decided to purchase a new laptop for work. And you can see these pictures here. You purchase something with money, and of course you can purchase it online, or you can go to a shop and purchase things, or simply to buy things. In the story, it said, but nobody purchased a single match from her. So this is how the story uses the word purchase to describe the little match girl not being able to sell any matches. Nobody wanted to purchase the matches. Next word is eve, and eve means the evening or the day before a special event like holiday. In this case, it was used for Christmas. So an example sentence for this is, everyone was happy on Christmas Eve. And you can see kind of like the picture, this is the day before Christmas, and of course Christmas is December 25th, and Christmas Eve will be the 24th. So you can see in the picture right here, that is the Christmas Eve, the day before. You can see in the story and how it is used, as it says, everybody was enjoying the Eve out there. So Eve simply means Christmas Eve in this case. The next word, or two words actually, is roadside and footpath. And roadside means simply the area next to the road. So for example, they stopped by the roadside to fix their car. But a footpath specifically means a path for people to walk on, usually separated from the road. So for example, we walked along the footpath through the park. And you can clearly see the difference in these photos down at the bottom. On the left, it's a roadside. It's simply just on the side of the road. Most of the case, people may not walk on it, so people may not be able to walk on it, but they can. It's just the side of the road. You can also see flowers that are on the roadside, meaning the side of the road. But a footpath, again, specifically means a place for a person to walk on. Like sidewalk is another word for footpath. So you can see people walking here. In the story, it was used, footpath for example, was used walking through the footpath. Again, the little match girl was walking on the footpath, which is on the side of the road. That was how it was used in the story. And the next word is various, and various means different kinds or types of something. So for example, the store sells various fruits, including apples, bananas, and oranges. You can see on the picture left bottom here, there are various fruits, various types of fruits, and on the right, there are various candies, meaning that there are a lot of types of candies, a lot of types of food. There are many different kinds. That is various. And in the story, it was used as the little match girl saw many shops full of cakes and various foods. So you can see various foods that are on the countertop. When she looked through the window, that is what she saw. And there are a lot of kinds or various foods. Now the next word is shivering. And shivering means shaking slightly, usually because of being cold, scared, or nervous. So for example, she was shivering in the cold wind without a jacket. In this case, this means shaking because of the cold. And you can see in the picture here, both pictures, that they are shivering. They are shaking because of the cold. That was shivering, and in the story, this word was used as such. She was shivering as it was night. So since the night is very cold, she was shivering, meaning just shaking. Now the next set of words we're going to talk about is the different kinds of different versions of the word burn. So you can have burn, which is simply a verb in present tense. So for example, the candle burns brightly in the room. That is pretty straightforward. And burned is also pretty straightforward, what happened in the past. So it's a regular past tense. And it can also be used as a past participle form, meaning that it happened and happened now. So it's commonly used in our English language. And for example, he burned the toast this morning. So you can also say he has burned in past participle form. And moving on to the next word is burnt. And burnt is usually used as an adjective. It can also be used as a past tense and past participle as well, but most of the time you'll hear burnt as an adjective, so you can still use it in the past tense form. So for example, the house burnt down during the fire. You can also say the house burned down during the fire. That's an alternate version. And for example, the adjective version is that the burnt cookies smelled terrible. So the cookies are burnt. So burnt describing the cookies. So you can see a lot of different variations of the word burn that was used throughout the story. And the next phrase is try one's best, or try her, his, their. One is basically just replacing all pronouns. So try one's best means to put in as much effort as possible to achieve something. So for example, even though the task was difficult, he tried his best to finish it on time. So you can see on both these pictures here, they are trying their best. She is trying her best to lift up the weight, and he, assuming, is trying his best to push up the boulder. And trying one's best means giving all you've got. So putting in as much effort as possible. That's just trying one's best. So you can see the little match girl, she tried her best approaching people to buy the matches for it. So she tried her best selling the matches and to earn the money. The next word is threat, and threat refers to a statement or action indicating harm, danger, or warning that something bad might happen. So for example, the storm was a serious threat to the coastal towns. So you can kind of see alert, and this person is red, marked red. Possibly he's a threat, this person right here. So again, threat means something that can cause harm or danger, or it can be any sort of warning signs that something bad can happen. A threat can be literal, so maybe threaten you, meaning to kind of do something, like indicating harm, like wanting to do something bad. So that means threat. And in the story, it was used as she remembered her father's threat. So her father threatened her to, if she didn't bring her match, she will not be allowed back home. So that would be a sort of threat, meaning to indicating harm, causing to harm and doing something bad. The next word is gutter, and gutter refers to a hole or channel at the edge of the street or roof that collects or carries away rainwater. So for example, the rainwater flowed into the gutter after the heavy storm. Pretty straightforward. You can see both pictures here. There are gutters that the waters flow inside here, because without the gutters, the streets would overflow when it rains, and you don't want that. So people made these kind of gutters for the water to drain out. So in the story it said, and found it in the gutter. Remember the little match girl accidentally got loose of her slippers, and one of her slippers got stuck in the gutter. You can see right here. The next word is barefoot, and barefoot means not wearing shoes or socks. So for example, she walked barefoot on a warm sand at the beach. So you can see in both pictures they're barefoot, and usually on the sand you would go barefoot because you really, I guess, wouldn't want any sand in your shoes, so people often go barefoot. And in the story, the little match girl was unable to walk properly as she was barefoot. Remember that she lost both of her slippers, so she didn't have anything to wear for her foot. So that is why she was barefoot, and because of that she was unable to walk properly, most likely because it was too cold, or maybe the ground was a little, I guess, rocky, or because of that she was really hard to walk. But barefoot again means not wearing shoes or socks. You can see in this picture we're seeing. The next word is grasp, and grasp means to take hold of something with your hands or to understand something fully. So again, this kind of has two meanings. The first one kind of meaning grasping, literally holding something. So for example, he grasped the handle tightly to open the door. That means he got hold of it, got hold of the handle tightly to open the door. It means he literally grabbed it. Or it can also mean grasping it, like grasping an understanding. So more like metaphorically. So she tried to grasp the meaning of the explanation. So maybe the explanation was a little bit confusing, and she tried to grasp the meaning, she tried to understand the explanation. So those are two different kinds of meanings for grasp. And you can see in this scene of the story that the little match girl tried to grasp the warmth, again, this is not literally grasping the warmth because warmth is not a physical thing. It's not existing in front of you. So you can't really grab it. But grasp, again, like I've told before, it can mean something less literal, something that, for example, I used understanding, but it can also be warmth. So it doesn't have to be existing right in front of you. The next word is adjacent, and adjacent means next to or nearby something. So for example, the park is adjacent to the school, so it's easy to walk there. And you can see in the picture down at the bottom left, this house is adjacent to this house, meaning right next to. And this dog is adjacent to the pumpkin. Or if you said the pumpkin is adjacent to the dog. Simply means next to or nearby, adjacent. So, in the story, it was used as, and burnt it against the wall adjacent to her. So she was sitting by the wall, so of course the wall was adjacent to her, or near her, on the side of her. Now, the next word is transparent, and transparent means something that is clear or see-through. So for example, the glass window was so clean, it was almost transparent. So in both pictures, you can see that this window is transparent, and on the right, it seems like a bubble or like a glass sphere, that it looks transparent, meaning you're able to see through it. You can also see through it here, and you can say that both of these objects are transparent, clear or see-through. In the story, it was used as the little match girl lighted a match, and to her surprise, the wall turned transparent. And she was sitting by the wall, remember? And when she lighted the match on the wall adjacent to her, then the wall turned transparent. It means see-through. Now, the next word is decorated, and decorated itself is an adjective, but the verb form is simply to decorate. But in the story, it was used as an adjective of decorated. So decorated means something that has been made more attractive by adding items like ornaments, colors, or designs. So for example, the Christmas tree was beautifully decorated with lights and ornaments. You can see these are ornaments. I didn't really explain it, but ornaments are basically these objects that you hang on the tree. It doesn't have to be on a tree, but usually ornaments are used to describe what you hang on these Christmas trees, and that the ornaments basically decorates the tree. You can see on the right, she is decorating the room, meaning making it more beautiful, making it more attractive. And again, you can see that in an adjective form, the room is decorated. Or on the left, the tree is decorated. But in terms of verb form, she is decorating the tree, and she is decorating the room. That is how both of the adjective and verb form can be used for decorate. And you can see in the story, it was used to describe the room, which turned transparent, and it was well decorated. You can see in the picture right here in the scene. That was how it was used in the story. And the next word is ample. And ample means more than enough or plenty of something. So for example, there was ample food at the party, so no one went hungry. You can see on the left there are ample amount of food, meaning again a lot, plenty. And on the right, you can see at the party there were ample food, meaning that again it will not run out and it's plenty enough for everyone, meaning ample. There was ample food at the party. And this story was used as the little match girl could see ample food on the table. You can see there are good enough food for everyone, meaning ample. The next word is vanish, and vanish means to disappear completely, often, suddenly, and without a trace. So for example, the magician made the coin vanish into thin air. Again, vanish is just making it disappear. You can see on the left, the magician making it disappear. And on the right, you can see the magician is trying to make the coin disappear. Or vanish, okay, if you use the vocabulary. So in the story it said, and everything vanished at once. So once the match went out, everything just went back to normal and everything just vanished at once. That was how it was used in the story. And the next word is strike one's mind. So strike one's mind means to suddenly think of something or have an idea come to you. So for example, the solution to the problem struck her mind just as she was about to leave the office. So again, striking one's mind, meaning to just suddenly think of something. You wouldn't strike your mind. It's not literal. So the words doesn't mean as it say. So you don't really strike your mind, but some idea maybe can strike your mind, meaning that it suddenly came inside your head and you start to remember something or you have a sudden idea. So you can see on the picture left, this person maybe something struck in his mind, maybe a certain idea, certain solution to the problem struck his mind, right? Something like that. And you can see there are multiple questions, but this exclamation point, something just struck a person's mind. And the story, it said, just then she saw a star falling down. A thought struck her mind. Again, as she saw this falling star, a sudden thought struck her mind, meaning something suddenly came into her mind. The last word is pity, and pity means feeling bad for someone because of their difficult situation or misfortune. So for example, he felt pity for the man who lost his job. And again, you can see on the person left, she is feeling pity for someone else, most likely. And on the right, this little girl is feeling pity for the dog. And again, pity meaning feeling bad for something or someone. Yeah, that was the end of the vocabulary sections. And I did post a link down at the bottom in the comment section so you guys can take a look at the story of the little match girl. And yeah, I will see you guys again next Friday.